So, recording poetry. So one of the things that came out of my adventure yesterday was I was carrying my poems around all unfolded like that. I cooked them up into bite-sized paper so everybody could just grab a poem, and it was a little crazy. So I was interviewing or questioning or recording this guy who does Scottish oatcakes, and he had a fascinating story, and I wish I could have recorded everything that I experienced yesterday, but I can't. So he gave me a paper bag, so now I have like Felix's bag of poetry tricks that I'm carrying around with me, which is kind of interesting because, you know, poetry is usually so highbrow and elitist, and now I'm carrying it in a grocery bag, or disposable one at that, on scraps of paper. So every time I have somebody, you know, I tell them that's where they're going to get the poetry from, they kind of give me a weird look, which is kind of fun. So I think it kind of kicks them into the fun gear. So I am going to, over the next little bit, post all of these poems. I decided to make this project for Lance Larocque's class on, well, for me it's surrealist poetry. I'm going to make this a part of a larger body of work that's going to span the year, because I have another poetry course coming up with a theorist. So I have some theory here, and I'm going to speak to that, and then I have some poems I wrote, and I'm going to speak to that. Some of them don't have names, so don't expect that, because I don't usually use titles. And so I'm going to read the poems, and then I'm going to try to remember what I actually wrote them about, but this is in type format, and I do everything by hand. I have spatial memory, so if I look at my actual handwritten ones, I can actually remember exactly what I was referring to at the time. So I might just read the poems this time and then come back and say poem number whatever was about this, and then kind of post those two together. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, alright, poetry time. Next post.